Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. There is a lot of fear inside of the market right now, and I see a ton of panic throughout the market as a whole. A lot of new people that recently got into the market are now feeling very scared about their investments because most of them bought recently as the market has been going up. On top of that, you also have some of the long-term holders that are now starting to question if the bull market is actually over entirely. But today, I wanted to take some time and actually break it down in a very logical, a very easy to understand format that explains why I believe the bottom is most likely in and why I believe that most of the coins are going to be trending up from here. Many of the corrections that we're seeing throughout the market is something we've seen repeated many different times across many market cycles in years past, and I don't really think that there's a big reason to worry. So today's video is going to cover all of my reasons on why you should not be worrying about this sell-off. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Always remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys sign up and join the Discord server of over 20,000 members and growing. Links are provided for you in the description if you do want to go ahead and sign up for my community. On top of all of that, if you're a new guy just getting into these markets and you want to make sure that you're making better decisions, you're not getting struck so hard by the sell-offs, links are provided for you in the description to download my free ebook and Beginner's Guide to Crypto. This is an amazing opportunity for you guys to understand a little bit more of the technicals behind what it actually takes to be more profitable, and it's free to download, not going to cost you anything, so go check it out, guys. And with all that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so for today's video, I figured I would just pretty much wing it. I have a few different charts that I have laid out. I think that these are going to be amazing charts to cover for today's video, but overall it might be a little bit longer. It might drag out because of the fact I do want to kind of just freestyle this off the top of my head and really just give you guys a thorough analysis on what I think is going on inside of the market, because what we've experienced is truly one of the biggest sell-offs we've ever seen inside of crypto as a whole, inside of any bull market. And because this sell-off is happening, a lot of people are scared. A lot of people that haven't been around throughout the cycles are very scared. And even a lot of people that have been throughout the cycles, I've already seen a lot of, cycle top charts. I've seen a lot of predicting the bear market already, and I see a lot of this stuff, and because of this is just creating even more fear and panic inside of the market. And so I just wanted to give you guys a thorough analysis, kind of give you guys my own pace, my own thoughts and perspective on why I'm really not too fearful. Yeah, guys, I've taken a big pay cut myself. I mean, if you're holding a long-term and a significant amount of money inside of crypto, and you're holding throughout the long term, and you're not worrying so much about the swings, you're going to be experiencing a lot of volatility inside your market. And this is something, we've talked about time and time again throughout the entirety of us investing since I've had this channel, since I've been making videos. I've talked to you guys about the fact that what we're going to experience inside of this bull run is a lot of volatility. Now, I think that the prime example of this happening was back down here in March when we saw this massive panic, right? I remember waking up and my portfolio was down 60% on that day. Now, I would argue a lot of people watching these videos right now probably got in here probably after this March time frame, right? And so probably most of you guys recently got in here and got involved. And so to experience this as being your first correction, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably lost a lot of money. Maybe some of you guys got liquidated. Maybe some of you guys, didn't necessarily get liquidated. Maybe you guys have been in here for a while, but you're still panicking. So I just wanted to share with you guys some thoughts. So in this sell-off, Bitcoin dropped about 52% in that one, given period of time. It was a big sell-off, right? And I remember waking up and my portfolio was down 50, 60%. Now, one of the big reasons I'm not so fearful about this sell-off that we're seeing right here, and this is actually something I covered in my live stream recently, was what we're seeing right here is very much the same type of consolidation that we saw back here in 2017 in the last cycle. So if you guys remember, back in the last cycle, when Bitcoin first broke its all-time high and we went into price discovery, we had this sell-off right here. Now, this sell-off here, based off of price, was only about 41% in that pullback. But what we're seeing today is a little bit bigger of a sell-off, obviously. I think this one's about 20%, maybe 10% more. So yeah, about 14% more in which we pulled back here. And so this one is a deeper sell-off, but regardless, guys, it resembles the same type of market structure. And these are why I wanted to give you guys a couple perspectives in which I see market structure behaving from here. And the first one is this scenario that I did highlight in my live stream. Now, this first scenario looks very similar to what we saw in that last cycle. We had this run up. We had roughly the same types of consolidation here. And then we had this massive panic, this big sell-off. I remember in that last cycle, a lot of people were calling for the cycle to be topping. A lot of people thought that it was over, the bull market was done for. And then we ended up getting a strong buyback and a V bottom. And we pretty much went straight back to those all-time highs. Now, do I think that that's what's going to happen here? I really have no idea, guys. But I would not be the least bit surprised. We have a couple scenarios. Regardless, I do think we're going to bounce here. We'd probably bounce back up to, you know, probably around $45,000 to $47,000. And then from here, you know, if we're truly bullish, we're going to get a bigger expanse on the upside and ultimately end up V-bottoming. That's what I'm watching for. And I think that that's really the most bullish scenario that we can go about seeing from here. Now, the bearish scenario is we get a little bit of a relief here, and then we end up making another low, and that low would take us all the way back down to probably $20,000. It'd be a massive sell-off. Now, to be honest, guys, I see a lot of people throwing this scenario around where we're going to go all the way back down to the all-time highs. To be honest, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think that this was the shakeout that we needed. This is a huge sell-off, and historically, guys, now, Bitcoin pulled back, you know, a little over 50%, about 55, 60%, depending on where you're looking at it. And in a lot of these other sell-offs, you know, we haven't really seen that type of a move. That one was about 45%. You know, this one was once again about 50%. This one here was much bigger than that. It was about 75%, closer to 80%. And so we have seen sell-offs that are pretty steep inside of these moves. In this most recent sell-off that we saw here from 14K back down to 38, you know, that one was about 70%. And so I don't think that this is anything unforeseen. The only unforeseen event that we've seen comparing it to the last cycle is the fact that this one went about 40% at the most in their sell-offs, whereas this one's at about 54%. And so this one is comparable more to about the 2013 sell-off. In my opinion, this is just your typical sell-off inside of a market cycle, and there's really no reason to be fretting this overall. Now, guys, I want to dive into some other charts here to give us an even clearer perspective. This is why I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I think that this is just a steady consolidation here. We will see more buyers step into this market as we rally back up closer to about 45K. In my opinion, once we can get above 45K, that's what's going to cement us into new all-time highs for Bitcoin. And so that's going to be our line in the sand. But regardless, guys, I think we will see a bit of a bounce up on the upside here. So that's what I'm going to watch for moving forward with Bitcoin. Now let's dive into some of these other charts that I think are very valuable with us understanding moving forward. So the first chart I wanted to share with you guys today is actually going to be Ethereum. And this is the Ethereum silver fractal that I wanted to give you guys. Now, guys, this is very, very similar to what we're seeing today inside of Ethereum right now. Now, what I wanted to share with you guys is the silver chart from back here in about, you know, 1990 approximately, maybe the 1980s, way back in the day. Silver ended up making its first market cycle. We had this big parabolic move similar to what we saw here with ETH. And then we saw this big crash on the downside. We went sideways. And then what silver ended up doing is indicated by this black line. We made our first impulse. And then we sold off, had this big panic. And then we went for one more big blow off top on the upside, right? Now, I wanted to share with you guys this chart because it's very much the same of what we're seeing here with Ethereum today. And the price chart just resembles so much of the same type of bottom structure and all of that. We get the same type of price action throughout here, the sideways price action. You know, we get the same sort of fake out and then sell off, retesting support. Same thing that we saw here with March of that panic. And then we end up getting the rally on the upside. And the rally, guys, looks to me to be the same type of price action we see. Same run up, consolidation, run up again, same price action, one blow off top here. Ethereum is just more parabolic. That's literally the only difference here between crypto and silver. And what we saw here with Ethereum was we actually went all the way up here about $4,000. And if we're following silver, what silver did was we got this pullback. Now, the thing about silver, guys, is in its sell-off, this was about... in Ethereum, let's see what this was, because they were the same. They were the same here. I think they were 50 or 60%. So yeah, 60%. Ethereum pulled back 60% here, whereas silver pulled back about the same inside of this move here. Now, even though the price chart looks like, Ethereum would have to go all the way down to about $1,000, that's not true because I have stretched this chart to help it fit more and scale more to the price chart of Ethereum. Now, based off of the overall percentage-wise, this is the same size of pullback that we saw here between ETH and the same size of pullback that we saw here with silver. It just looks like the silver chart's pulling back more. And so if this is going to continue to rhyme and continue to play out as what we've seen thus far, we are going to see one more big rally up for, Ethereum. And that could take us anywhere from about $10,000. You guys know I've highlighted $20,000 as my target for ETH. The personal reason that I have $20,000 is because I believe that these markets are more parabolic and they're destined to be more parabolic. Now, what's interesting to me is that these cycles rhyme. They're very much rhyming in the same degree. And that's why I think that, we will be seeing one more big rally up on the upside here. And potentially we could be going much higher than $10,000. I personally think $20,000. So I wanted to share with you guys this because it's amazing to me how similar these cycles actually are to each other. We're seeing pretty much the same type of consolidation here. And we're seeing the same type of a pullback that we saw here. It is possible that we end up going a little bit lower. Crypto is more volatile, so I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to have to watch and see what happens with support here. If we continue to just start breaking out and going up again, then obviously we're going to be more bullish. But maybe we do need a deeper pullback. I don't know quite yet. We're going to watch and see here, which is why I wanted to give you guys this little bit of analysis here to share with you guys a cycle that has played out in times past that looks very similar to what we're seeing here with ETH. I don't think you guys can argue too much against this. When I first pulled this up and I was looking at it, I thought to myself, man, this is pretty much the same type of action. The only difference here is with silver, we got this first little lower high, and then we got this massive panic here. Whereas with Ethereum, we pretty much just had this massive sell-off. And so, I don't really think that we need more downside with ETH. It is possible, don't get me wrong, but I do believe that the bottom is going to be in from here. And so I wanted to give you guys this little update to share with you guys where I think prices are going to be heading on the upside moving forward. So watch out for ETH. Now, this is actually one of my favorite charts, and I saved this to last because I know a lot of people aren't going to actually be staying all the way to the end to be watching this far. But the people that are, I'm also going to be making a dedicated XRP video to this analysis because I think it's really amazing. Now, what I saw here forming was just how similar XRP actually looks to early day Bitcoin. And I always known this. I've watched this fractal for a long time, and I kind of forgot about it, but I don't see anybody else talking about it, so I figured it was a great opportunity to actually talk about this. Now, what we saw here with Bitcoin back in 2013, when we saw this massive run up, right? We had this big sell-off in the summer, same time frames here, May, June, July, and then we saw this pullback, and then we saw this big blow off top as we closed out the end of the year. Same time frame, same everything. This looks like the same chart. Overall, there is some differences. I'm not going to lie, there is some differences, but what I wanted to share with you guys was how much the bull markets actually look the same. And the point of this video was actually to share with you guys what XRP looks like to me. Looks just the same as what we saw here with Bitcoin back in the day. And this was when I actually first got into Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin, my first Bitcoin, at $450 right here in that summer. I rode the pump up. It was my first rally, first profit, hooked me ever since. And then we ended up seeing this first pullback right here. And it was this ABC correction. I always talk about it. ABC, right? Now, this ABC correction was a really big panic, and it went pretty much back down to the previous resistance of the last move, and we retested that, and then we ended up getting the next move all the way back up to retest those all-time highs. And it's interesting to me because it's very much the same type of price action that we're seeing here inside of XRP today. So let's drop into the XRP chart since we know where we're at in the grand scheme of things, and let's talk about what we're seeing today, because in my opinion it's the same type of price action. Now, what we saw in COVID here was this last sell-off, right? This big capitulation event that happened at the bottom of the cycle. When we actually take the Bitcoin chart and we look at this, it's pretty much the same type of analysis here. And when we compare the fractals, there is some difference, I'm not going to lie, but I think you guys are going to be able to start to conceptualize how insanely similar these cycles actually are. So look at this, big sell-off, capitulation, right? We get a little rally up here, same one here, short-term support. We make another attempt at a breakout. XRP actually does break out and make a higher high, whereas Bitcoin actually gets rejected and sells off for one more here. But then that's what takes us to our big breakout. This is where Bitcoin made its first big major breakout upwards of like $400 and $500. And then we ended up making the ascending triangle, right? Now, guys, this is pretty much the exact same consolidation that we see here today with XRP. It follows the same trend. Now, what happened with Bitcoin after was Bitcoin made its sell-off. Now, it was not nearly the same type of a sell-off that we saw here with XRP. I think the reason we saw a much deeper correction in the XRP was because, well, first off, it's XRP. It's more volatile anyways because it's an altcoin, but also because of all of the FUD that came out with the lawsuit regarding the SEC. And that's why we saw a much deeper pullback here. But regardless, what we saw here form after, when I actually took the chart of Bitcoin, because this is the ascending triangle, right? Pretty much what happened with Bitcoin chart is it went up, we had this first pullback, we went back up, and then this is where we see the ascending triangle, right? And that's what takes us into the price chart of Bitcoin. Now, this is the point that I'm comparing here for XRP. It does look a little bit different, but I think you guys are starting to understand that these are the same type of price action. We basically broke out of the accumulation range. As we flipped it here, it did the same type of move that Bitcoin did in its ascending triangle. Now, what happened after for Bitcoin, we made our first major impulse. This was a quick impulse, and then this was right when Bitcoin had its halving in 2016. I remember this because I went margin long right here, and I lost all of my money and got liquidated here. That was my first experience inside of trading the markets of crypto. I bought my first Bitcoin here, made my first profit, got over leveraged here because I heard, oh, the halving is going to make it to go to the moon, and then it pulled back 20-30% or whatever this pullback was, and I got liquidated. Now, guys, keep in mind that this is the same thing that we're seeing with XRP today, and that's why I wanted to make you guys this video, is because it's interesting to me how we're seeing a lot of different market cycles play out in years past. This was the silver chart for Bitcoin. You know, this was the 2017 consolidation that we saw, you know, back down in here. We have a number of different market cycles to look at that all resemble the same overall outcome. And what I'm expecting to have happen with XRP is pretty much the thing that's already been happening. The dip is getting bought up. What XRP did is it actually retested this previous high, the exact same thing that Bitcoin did, right? Remember, this was the resistance of the ascending triangle, so to speak. It pretty much is an ascending triangle in XRP too. And then what XRP did is it sold off and retested that as support. What did Bitcoin do? Well, it did the exact same thing. It sold off and retested it as support, and it did the exact same ABC correction that I always talk to you guys about. A, B, C. It's a move that you'll see play out time and time again inside the crypto markets. You guys are seeing the exact same type of price expansion as many of the prior market cycles we've seen in years past. This is why I like to analyze market cycles and look at prior market cycles in history, because oftentimes they rhyme and they make the similar type of market cycles long-term throughout all commodity markets. XRP is one of those commodities along with all of crypto. Now, guys, what I think is going to happen from here is the push to the all-time highs. And I've talked about this a lot inside of my analysis. What we're seeing is the exact same type of price action. We're seeing a lot of FUD right now, a lot of, you know, negative news breaking out in China, breaking out against institutions, you know, corporations. All these people are doing it collaboratively because they want to buy the dip. They know the markets are going to go up much higher from here, and they want to get cheap entries. And so what comes next, in my opinion, is pretty much the same thing that we saw with COVID. Where we saw this V bottom, we consolidate, and then we pretty much just continue to break up higher. The next move is going to be the all-time high here for XRP. That's where I think we're going to be breaking to next. So I just wanted to give you guys this little update. It's more of a way to calm your nerves. I know a lot of people are scared right now. A lot of people are experiencing their first major sell-off in a bull run. A lot of people are experiencing, you know, another one of the gnarliest sell-offs they've ever seen. Maybe you guys have been here to experience the last sell-off we saw here in March. If you guys were here, honestly, at this point for me, I am not even worried by the sell-offs because we're just at such a volatile period where with XRP, you know, I've been a big time holder of this. I've been buying this one for a long time, and I honestly have been the most volatile market cycle of my life. I had to experience what it was like when it felt like it was going to fall off a cliff here in March of 2020. I watched what it felt like when it felt like it was going to fall off a cliff once again here with the SEC lawsuit. I felt what it feels like right now with us falling off a cliff once again. Guys, it's all the same emotions that are repeated. And every time I buy the dip, I feel better after because it, you know, gets bought up and goes to new all-time highs. So I'm not buying this dip personally. I bought Sushi Swap and I did buy Cosmos yesterday. That's the two that I did dollar cost average into. But regardless, I've pretty much packed my bags, took a nice little haircut, as I'm sure all of you guys did if you're holding a lot of long-term bags. If you guys got liquidated, you know, it's whatever. This is just a prime example of why you guys can't get over leveraged when the markets are going up. They're destined to steal your money. It's like a bully stealing your lunch money, and the whales are your bullies in the market. And they're purposely designed to literally shake you out in every possible way they can. Have you guys looked at the chart? Have you noticed that every single pump that XRP has an immediate sell-off every single time? Every single time. And it's almost as if it's never actually going anywhere, even though it is. It's always going up, but there's always sell-offs to just completely erase the pumps. Those pumps are getting erased because people are FOMO buying, and then they're getting liquidated by the whales dumping on them. And when they dump, they accumulate all of their panic, and then they repeat the cycle over again. We've seen it play out a number of times. At this point, if you're not just willing to buy the dip and you're panic selling or you're getting liquidated and you haven't learned your lesson yet, let this be your final lesson, because what's going to happen, if it hasn't already happened, is you've pissed away your major profits. You've pissed away the opportunity of having a big, you know, comfortable position for the long term. And now you're scratching your head. You have higher taxes, and now you're scared and wondering if you missed out on the bull run. At this point, the best thing to do is just cut your losses whatever you can. You know, if you can cover your margins, cover them, because I think the bottom's in. Quit messing with margin in the first place. You guys really don't need to do that. And if you are doing margin, very, very small position sizes, manage your risks, use stop losses, things of that nature. And even then, you're not always safe with all of that. You never know what's going to happen with the exchange you're going to use. And so there's just a lot of risks that you guys need to think about before jumping into stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of profit to be made regardless of using leverage. You don't even need to use it ever. I really don't ever use it. I used it, 2 years ago when I longed pretty much the very bottom of a lot of market cycles. Haven't longed anything since. And so I don't think you guys should really be messing with a lot of this stuff. I think you guys should just focus on the long term. And right now, the long term just looks like many other market cycles I've seen play out. And every single time people bought the dip, they were rewarded greatly. And I think that the same thing is going to play out once again here. See a lot of fear. It's typical with these type of sell-offs. We're seeing one of the biggest sell-offs in crypto history in the grand scheme of things. Regardless, guys, I think that this is just, one of the greater buying opportunities we're going to get. When you guys see a 60% sell-off in the market and you don't buy anything, you're literally getting dumped on. That's about it. You're not making any money. You're just getting dumped on. You got to buy the dip at least. That's the very minimum. And that's what I've been doing. I don't buy the dips unless we get a big, big sell-off. And then I buy the dips because I understand and recognize when a good opportunity is. You guys just have to be patient. Simple as that. So anyways, this is the video I had for you. I want to give you guys kind of a little ramble, explain my thoughts and perspectives with a number of different cryptos, help you guys to understand what I think is going to happen moving forward. Buy the dip. Don't worry about any of this stuff moving forward long term. It's all going to resolve itself as it always has every single time up to this point. So just look at the long term, guys, and you're going to be fine. With all that being said, if you guys want to join the group, join the Discord, you guys want to actually download my free ebook and beginner's guide to studying cryptocurrency investing, links are provided for you in the description for all of that. On top of that, if you guys want to actually go ahead and join my group, my Discord server, my private group with the signals or the private video course, all of that is also going to be linked in the description as well. Website to go ahead and sign up for that. There's also links in the description for all of the other avenues, Twitter, Instagram, and all of that. So check me out. Thank you guys so much for the support. I look forward to watching you guys make a lot of money. Ignore the dip. It's whatever. We're going to look forward to this a month, 2 months from now, however long it takes. We're going to completely forget about it. So just focus on the long term, eyes on the prize, and we will be profitable. Thank you guys so much for watching this. And with all that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.